Hey everybody, we've all heard about AI in Gmail and the whole Google Suite, but today we're actually going to dive in. We're going to look at what it can and cannot do, and we're going to play around a little bit with Gemini and Gmail. So stick with us. This is Dan Wegner and Lori Ryan from the Daily AI Experience. Thanks for coming. Let's get into it. How you doing today anyhow, Lori?
Doing great. And I spent a lot of time today in my Gmail. So anything that can help make that experience better, I would greatly appreciate it. I feel like opening my inbox now gives me heebie-jeebies.
All right. I think you are a little bit like me. I think I mentioned this. I have like 50,000 unopened emails, only because I just let them sit there. I've got extra room. I pay an extra $5 a year or whatever for the extra space, and why, right? And maybe this is a good thing. Everyone else was so compulsive about keeping their email clean, but now with the help of AI, maybe we can do stuff that you couldn't do before. Hopefully that's what we're going to see today. So let's talk a little bit about Gemini and the Google Suite of tools. I know they call it something else now. It used to be Google Suite, and I can't remember what it's called, but I don't pay for that. I just use the free Gmail, and I think it's great, except I do buy that extra space every year. So Gemini says, hey, we can interact with all these Google tools, and we'd like to help you with it. And there's a little it's a labs piece right now, but the little Gemini star comes up in the corner, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I was thinking, what are the capabilities of that? What if I want to extract content out of certain Gmail emails? And so I started thinking about that, and I'm going to show you what problem I was trying to solve. And here we are. This is one of the emails that I get on a regular basis. It's called the AI report. And one of the things that's really cool and helpful for our podcast here is, where is it here? There's this little piece called trending tools. Now, Mecco, by the way, is a sponsor or something because it's in every single one. But this was Yumzy, transforms food photos into pro-level images with AI. And Memory Pi brings human-like memory to AI systems. Pi is probably for Python, right? So it gives us a few of those. I thought, well, what if, first of all, can Gemini do my search for me? And so I'm going to say, let's go ahead. And what we'll do is we're going to copy the email address that this came from. And it's just letter@aireport.com. Mail.ai report. So I'm going to ask Gemini here, find all the emails from the address. So let's see what it does here. So there it is. It did find all the emails. So all it really did is push that over into search. So that's really cool. But what if I wanted to extract, create a list of all those tools from all the emails? I thought that would be so cool. And so what I thought I could do, and I did try this, and maybe it'll work better now, but what if I said, get all the trending tools from emails sent by something like this, okay? Get all the trending tools, or get all the trending tools from the trending tools section.
Yeah.
In email sent by blah, blah, blah. How about this too? Include links and descriptions. Okay.
Because this might be something you would ask an intern to do, right? Or something like that. Some of this busy work.
Busy work for sure. Now let's see what this does, and we'll see. we'll leave it at that. So it's going through. It's trying to do it. I'm going to expand this a little bit, take up a little more space here, and it says just a sec here, and it's spinning. And there's hundreds of emails here. They come.
Right.
they come like 5 times a day. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And here's a list, and we can see it's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 different tools. And it only utilized 6 of my emails. So here we can actually see them if it'll open here. I'm not sure why it's not opening. Oh, there they are. So these are the, oh yeah, these are them. So these are all from there. And it didn't go back in time. So I get to be a little obsessive compulsive about things sometimes. And I'm like, I want that list. Because you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to take that list. It's a list. I have a list of, I think, 300 of these things. And I'm going to provide it. If you subscribe to this, I don't even know how to get it to people. But it'll be in the link, the show. I'll put a link to it in the show notes here, and you'll be able to download this list of 300 tools that AIers put out over. So I did 10 pages of, I think it's 9. So 90 of these episodes. How many of that comes out to? Does that make sense? 90 newsletters and all the trending AI. And they're not always 3. There used to be 5, and sometimes there's even more. So anyhow, it's a lot. There's a lot. We're
going to have content for a long time, Dan.
I know. We'll never have to, like, we won't lose sleep.
Run out.
We'll never lose sleep over it or anything. Anyhow, so, but the question, I got to this point, I was like, that stinks. And I literally tried about 500 different ways to do it right here in Gmail. And Gemini's, maybe if you have the paid version or something, it can do it. But in this version here, it's like, I'll give you information from 6 of your emails. I got 7 once, but you're not going to get 90 like I had. So what do we got to do? So what I did is I tried things. I thought, well, first I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I know it can write a Python script right there in ChatGPT and run it from ChatGPT. And so I did that only to discover what? Do you know what I discovered?
I'm still on how did you write the Python script with ChatGPT, right? For someone who's non-techie like me, how did you do that?
That is a great question. So I actually did a few of these because I got lost and started over and stuff like that. But let's see here. So what I did is I started out here. I need a script that will get all the trending tools listed in each post at. Oh, that brings up the next part. So you know that when you get a newsletter sometimes, you can click on a link that says read this online, right? Mm-hmm. Well, great. So that's what I did. I went over here. I'm reading it online. And sure enough, if we scroll down a bit, trending tools, here they are, Mecco again, and 2 other ones because this is a different newsletter. But if I'm smart here and I just go to, if I go here, I can see them. And if I just go to archive, because I happen to have poked around a lot. So this is Beehive. It's a tool that can be used for it. So archive right here. What is this? 12, actually. I thought it was 9. So I have 120. I did 120 episodes because I did 10 pages. And I'm going to show you how I did that in a second here. So each one of these is a separate newsletter. All or most of them have that trending tools inside of them. Okay. And we could look at that. And then there's these pages. Well, anyhow, let's go back to ChatGPT and I'll show you what I did. So I did a canvas. I need a script that'll get all the trending tools from HTTPS, Beehive, include the descriptions, links by going to each page. So it actually, at the beginning, it went ahead and created it, and it gave me the ability to run the script. But one thing, so because of the different versions of ChatGPT, 01,
models,
all the different models. So some of them can search the internet, but the one that does Canvas probably could search the internet now that I think about it, but it doesn't do it when it's doing programming. It just kind of guesses. So it says, oh, you're looking for something here, and it's probably in this part of the newsletter, and it's using this kind of stuff. And it kind of throws up an idea at the beginning. Now, as you can see here, I've created a bunch of different versions of this, and we did changes over time. And by the way, this is just a little programming thing. So the red means that this got replaced by the green, and this red got replaced by this green, and this red got replaced by this green, etc. So that's what those colors are all about. So just so you know.
How long did this take you?
Too long. So compulsion or obsession or whatever it is knows no time limits, Lori. So once I get the scent of I'm like a fox or a bloodhound after the fox or something. Yeah. I can't let go. It's just like I'm chasing that fox till I die or the fox dies or whatever.
So is this script something, and all this work you put in to do this, something that I could then say, hey, Dan, I want to try that script out for myself? Is it something that would then work if I also receive the same email or want to do this for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's kind of neat because in some ways, this script is a little bit of a universal scraping script. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm just going to walk through the script a little bit just to give people a sense of how Python works. Python's a beautiful language. The tools to write in Python through tools like VS Code, which is Microsoft's what's called an IDE, interface design. I don't know what IDE stands for, but it's a programming environment. And it's really nice. Python has something called Notebook. And so basically Notebook allows you to kind of see your results as you go, which is really unique in the programming world. Usually it's like, back in the old days, you'd write some code and then you'd compile it. Well, scripting codes don't have to be compiled, but you compile the code and then you'd run it to see if it worked. And if it didn't, then you'd have to go back and try to identify where the problem was, or you'd create reporting, which would tell you where your errors are and stuff like that. Well, you don't have to do that with Python. You can actually run each line of code and watch what it does, which is really a powerful way to get that immediate feedback that really makes you a better programmer really, really fast, because now you're seeing right away the mistakes you're making. You're not running down rabbit holes, wasting time. So I hope that's a good explanation. But so I went down a lot of rabbit holes with this one. I didn't really use the whole Python thing. I was running it, trying to run it from ChatGPT. And I brought this up before a minute ago, Lori. I said, what's the problem? Why couldn't I run this in Python in ChatGPT? And I don't know if you know the answer for that. You can run other programs, but you can't run any program that accesses the internet in ChatGPT as Python script. Okay. So you could have something that did, some calculation, or you could, do something locally or whatever, but you can't. It won't let you, as far as I can tell, it won't let you real time go out on the internet and use that Python. So you have to do it locally, and that's what I actually ended up doing after I found it. I clicked the button, I waited, it didn't do anything. I was like, and I don't even know what's wrong. So
when you click run here, when you're on Canvas.
Yeah. So if I run Python code, sure, let's run. So it's installing the packages. That's these parts here. So Pandas, Beautiful Soup, which is scraping, requests, which allows it to go out on the internet. Time obviously manages time. So we get these warnings, and then finally at the bottom we get failed to connect. Well, failed to connect because you can't connect to the internet in a Python script running inside of ChatGPT. It's just they don't want the whole, because they don't want people doing this, scraping the internet using ChatGPT as the mechanism to do it. If that makes sense. Yeah. So it just basically says, we're not going to let you do that. But I do have all the code right here. And so I eventually asked ChatGPT, probably not here, but I asked ChatGPT, how do I set this up? Oh yeah, I think probably did here. How do I set this up to run on my own computer? I already knew basically how to do it. Basically, I have to install requests, Beautiful Soup, and Pandas, and Times part of Python, so you don't have to install that. But
sounds like a recipe. You got soup and thyme. Is there sage and rosemary too?
And Pandas apparently.
Pandas.
little protein. Okay, that was bad. Sorry, all you vegetarians. I know that's really gross. And you panda lovers. Anyhow, I love pandas. So one of the things that happened along the way, I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. So I actually pay. This is probably something I'm gonna have to blur out here, but or change it. This is my proxy. People are going, ooh, free proxy. This is a proxy that I pay for. Anyhow, so great. Anyhow, I'm gonna have to swap that out. Or I can blur it out. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So I put that in there, which is kind of nice because now I can go and scrape these things. The Beehive won't say, hey, how come someone keeps hitting the thing? And it's probably a bot, Anyhow, so the proxy it changes every 5 seconds or something. So it's doing all these different things. It's basically for each page, it's going to do 10 pages. It's going to go in. It's going to find the link that looks like this. It's going to go to the URL. It's going to scrape it. It's going to find the content. It's going to scrape that. And it's going to throw it into a CSV file, a comma-separated file, or similar to an Excel file. And it's really not that long. I mean, it's only 79 lines of code, but I needed to throw it into my IDE. And let's look at what. So here we can actually run this again, and it will take a couple minutes, but you will get to see, I talked about Notebook. So Notebook is actually kicking out this real time for me as I scrape. These represent each individual newsletter. And it's going through, and it goes through 12 of them, and then it grabs the next 12, and then it grabs the next 12, and ... And after it did it, it's got 368 tools that it scraped and threw into this comma-separated value file, which I can open in. Let's see if I can open it in. Well, apparently, let's see. Built in? I don't know what built in. I'm gonna have to probably open it within my where did I put? Oh, it's in here. Open. I know there's open reveal in Finder. So here it is. I'm going to open it with Numbers, which is a little Mac program that does spreadsheet kind of stuff.
The Apple version of Excel.
Yeah. And there it is. And so now I've got each of these tools. Wow. You can notice Meco's in there. I did tell it don't repeat things, but because the URL is slightly different each time, it thought it was a different Meco. But you can see that I've got a big long list of all these tools, and I can look at each of them. So say I wanted to find out what Magic Cam is, I can just click on it here.
I got another question for you, Dan.
Real-time face and video change. Ignite your YouTube live. Okay,
there we go. We'll have to try this one tomorrow.
Oh.
And I could probably use it now because all of a sudden I'm seeing the sun for the first time in such a long time here in Minnesota. I don't know what to do. Like, I never thought that I would need to consider the sun. But I have a question, right? So these email things come out every day, right? So you are going to continue to get more tools and more tools and more tools. What's your plan for, is this something you run once a week? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you set it up to keep up with the new?
Yeah, that's a great question. I accidentally just opened Teams and I don't see where it opens. So that's good. how do I keep making it new? Well, because I have this tool here, it's right here. I can literally just run that anytime I want. So I can just click this button. It'll run it. It'll include the last 10 pages is how I've got it set up. But I can set, if we go through 365 different tools, I can actually do it for 20 pages, or I can do it from page 11 to page 20, and now we've got 360 more of them. So it's something I could do on a regular basis to keep those tools. And what I could actually do, if I wanted to, I could actually put this on a back-end server, and it could generate it real time. So someone could say, I want that. I'd say click the button, and maybe we get a little spinning icon that says, your list will be prepared in just a few moments, and maybe we'll see building. So we could do that, but that seems a little unnecessary considering I can run it once and save all that processing. But so this is a little idea of what there was a lot of things I had. So I asked ChatGPT to write the code. It got the basic structure really nicely. And I said, then I had to say, by the way, each page should have, if you look at the URL for each page, so if I go to page 2 and we look up here in the URL, it says page equals 2. And I had to tell ChatGPT, by the way, the get URL parameter is page equals, and then I just gave an example. By the way, when you're doing anything with ChatGPT, if you can give it an example, it really helps. And also, you just say like this, and then you don't have to explain it. And because sometimes our powers of explanation leave something to be desired. ChatGPT wants something clear, and I tend to ramble, as you all know now. So I just said, for getting future pages, the page looks like this, and I just copied and pasted that in there. So that's a great way to do it. ChatGPT knew exactly what I meant, and it fixed that part that allowed it to flip from page to page to page. Also, another thing that I had to fix is once I was in here and in the trending tools area, so if I inspect, I don't know if you guys do this, but you can actually look at the code behind the scene. And there's something kind of funny here. It's whoever wrote this, there's an ID called trending tools where the word trending tools is. But there's also a div with an ID trending tools where the actual list of tools. And that's what these 3 LIs are these 3 trending tools. So there was a little, it's not proper to do it that way, just so you know. So, but it did it anyhow. So where did my so anyhow, those are some things I had to tweak. And, so because I'm a programmer and I've done this 1,000 times manually, what ChatGPT did for me is it just expedited it. And I actually used a lot of this to learn Python. I had previous programming experience, but I had no experience with Python. And that's a beautiful thing. In fact, you can go to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, I know how to program in this language. What's the best way for me to learn how to program in this other language? And ChatGPT will do a really good job of providing the ability to leverage the knowledge that you already have to learn the new thing. So it'll say it's different in this way, in this way, in this way. But these parts are the same, and it's really very helpful. So anyhow, I was able to create
tool, Dan. It's not just a cheating tool like so many people see it. It really is a helpful teacher, and it does allow us to learn things we might not have had the access to learn before.
Correct. And so it was a fun venture. If it was horrible, I probably wouldn't have stuck to it I think I spent maybe 2 hours trying to do this. And I expected it to be like a 10-minute project. So But 2 hours isn't bad. And now I really have a simple, I'm trying to point the right way. I have a simple way to scrape pages. And, so if I want to go to something, and by the way, Beehive is used for all sorts of newsletters. So if there's an area there that you like, I'll share this in the notes as well. So you can have this Python script and you can see it. I am going to take my proxy out of there. You don't need. Come
on, man.
Yeah, you don't need the proxy. And if you need a proxy, I'll leave this proxy in there. It won't work because I'm going to switch it out. But you can go to Smart Proxy. I think it costs me like $10 every 6 months or something like that. So it's not expensive. Mm-hmm. I don't use it very often. So, but I think the way I got it, have it signed up is per use. So if everyone came and started using it, it cost me $100.
Yeah.
That made me mad. Anyhow, so I don't know. I thought it was, it's a good example of a little bit of the rabbit holes we can go down, but it's also helps, I learned a lot and I got to see how it works. I got to play a little bit more with ChatGPT and running Python scripts. I got to see its limitations. I got to see the limitations of Gemini. And really, we talk about this a lot about success and failure and how failures are good. So I actually ran into a lot of failures along the way, but those failures nudged me in the right direction. I could find out where the successes were, and not to waste my time. But I also know, hey, if you just want a few results, Gemini is great. But if you want some deep dive and you want to scour it, it might be the paid version you need to go into, which might, if I could do this with the paid version, I'm not sure what the pro version of Gemini costs, like $12 a month or something like that. You don't know?
I'm not sure. I'm like so beginner, like you had up your Gmail account at the very beginning.
Yes.
How did you even get the Gemini window on the right? Is it automatically there and I've just never paid attention to it? Or do I have to open something?
Do you see this up here?
Hang on. I can't see very well. Now I got to do this. Oh, yeah. The little star thing. You click that.
Now, I may have had to turn that on as a labs thing. So I'd open this up, but I'm scared you're going to see more of my private stuff. But so it is labs. It's called Ask Gemini. It's labs for Gmail. So I would recommend, here's Gemini.
I've got one too.
Uh-oh.
And look at that, even put the whole plane.
I have something playing. Sorry, I don't know where it's coming from.
Just an app on the plane, and now
how do I turn it off?
Oh boy!
Look in your tabs and look for the speaker in your
Chrome tab now.
I got too much open.
Of our
I'm so sorry.
And I want to make it clear to the AI the context.
Oh, I think I know what's open.
We need one more slide.
How did that?
Pause for a second. It's coming back.
Good.
So we resume.
I'm so sorry. See what happened when you got me so curious? I went to my email and I'm like, I want to figure out how to get this to work right now. I couldn't wait, Dan.
Well, I don't know do you have that ability in your Gmail at this time?
I thought I signed up for beta stuff.
Okay.
But I don't see it up here. Okay. Maybe because it's a business account. I don't know. I'm trying.
Yeah, so I do think it's something I had to add as a labs, like a beta labs kind of thing. And so I learned something. It is available. I don't have to pay for the features I do have, but maybe there's an amped up version that would actually do all the things, allow me to extract all those lists. But I was able to extract a dozen or so of the items out of six emails. So
very cool. Very cool. And I think I'm going to try with I have a few emails, but I'm going to try with my one that's not associated with a work account and see if it's there.
Okay.
And maybe they just haven't brought it out yet for the workspaces.
Well, great. Well, for the non-programmers, I hope you got a lot of value out of it, even though you might not feel comfortable in all that. But if you have any interest in doing Python, you can ask ChatGPT, help me multiply prime numbers or something. I don't know. and it'll write you a little bit of code that you can run right there in ChatGPT. Using the canvas is a great way to do it, and I think it's very helpful, and I think everyone would enjoy journeying a little bit into programming, and maybe you'll find out that you love it and you want to really make it a part of your everyday life. The time will come, maybe 5-10 years from now, where you want to do that. But for the time being, even what I had to do right there required a lot of programming understanding, in the sense that I had to understand basic programming concepts like loops and HTML and things like that. But overall, it's I find it very satisfying that I can build things that run and do amazing things, hopefully. So
now I got Google talking to me. I don't know.
Hey, Google. Sorry.
I can't connect to the Wi-Fi or whatever. Now,
great. Now I forgot I have Google, and now my Google's going crazy. Anyhow,
this was great. Thank you. I learned a ton, and as always, you piqued my interest to try new things.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say Python is amazing. It really is the programming language of AI, and if you can get some basic understanding of programming in general and a little bit of Python, those two things you can do really anything you want programmatically with ChatGPT. Python running locally, it runs locally very easily on a Mac, very easily on a Windows machine, very easy on a Linux machine if you have that. So it's not rocket science, and you have one of the best tutors anyone's ever had in the history of humankind, ChatGPT and the other LLMs, to walk you through it, and you don't have to feel stupid, because even though your professor said there are no stupid questions, let's admit it, we all felt stupid when everyone else knew the answer and we had to ask the stupid question. But with ChatGPT, ChatGPT won't judge you. Anyhow.
And neither will we.
And we won't either. That's true. Well, great. Thanks, Lori. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching. Any clues on what we might be seeing tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow we're getting together for a little, yes.
Live. We got a live.
Yeah, you're going to share a little bit about your journeys, your voyage. Well, it wasn't. Well, your excursion to the West Coast.
I like it. Yes.
Well, fun. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And it's happy hour, and we should be running around 4 p.m. Isn't that correct?
4 p.m. Central. You got
4 p.m. Central. Yes. And come to the YouTube channel, and that's where you can join up, and feel free to chat. There's a chat feature in it, and we will see your chats when you come on in and chat and ask us questions and what have you. So, well, thanks, Lori. Thanks, everybody. Everybody should feel free to, and maybe slightly obliged to, comment and subscribe and like and do all those fun things so that we can grow the channel and keep coming to you. And, we don't have any great financial interest here, but a pat on the back would be amazing, right? Keep us motivated.
For sure.
And also your input on, what you like, what you don't like. Is this helpful? Is it not helpful? Please feel free to comment. We'll take it as constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you have a beautiful night, everybody. Lori, have a great night, and we will see everyone tomorrow.
Take care.
Bye-bye.